Shall we start with the duck?
I want to save the duck until the next break because the duck saying words is a little bit creepy.
Yeah, I know.
It's a little bit creepy. When I heard it over Mondo's shoulder today, I didn't know exactly what it was at first.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, that sounds like a duck saying words.
You said it's giving me a little funny feeling in my tum-tum.
And not like Donald Duck saying words, not that, cartoony thing. Well, the Cambrian explosion over 500 million years ago, before that, the ocean was teeming with very weird creatures that would probably blow our minds if we saw them today.
It would redefine what life looked like on Earth. Like your left eyeball would be over here.
Are you suggesting that I have amblyopia? Because I do, and I find that very hurtful.
No, I meant the location of your eye would be over here, the eye socket.
Oh, not that I had a lazy eye.
Yeah.
The animal, an animal that they have found, one of those weird creatures chiseled out of the Canadian mountains, now considered one of the largest animals known from that Cambrian period.
It was built like a tank.
Titanochorus ganesi has multifaceted eyes, a ring-shaped mouth that looked like a pineapple slice. I am out. I'm out.
Wait, no, not yet. No, not yet.
That just gave me chills.
It also has claws to snap up prey. Snap. Like that.
Okay.
A trail of flaps for swimming and a head covered in a massive carapace.
Okay.
What is that?
Carapace.
Oh.
It's like a giant shell. See, this looks like a massive horseshoe crab.
Yes,
or something like
exactly
that.
what it looks like.
They said it's shaped like a giant spaceship. This is something that attacked New York in an Avengers movie at some point.
This discovery was published today in the Royal Society Open Science. We don't get that one here in the office. Oh, no.
Yeah, see?
No.
Yep.
No, the
right.
claws. It's like hands.
Yeah, and they're going to, whatever you put in those claws, is going to take it straight up to that mouth. Ooh. This team says they found the fossil in the Burgess Shale in Canada. It's a stretch of rock in the western North America that has yielded stupendously well-preserved remains of the animals that lived during that period. And that it was covered by sea at the time. So this obviously would have been a filter feeder sifting through the mud, sucking up any tasty morsels that they came across.
Wait, what are the dimensions of this thing again?
Well, I don't think they've really given us, but they said that in relative proportion,
yeah,
if the typical Cambrian critter were the average human height, T. ganesi would in relative proportion be about 40 feet tall.
40 feet tall.
They said most animals that inhabited the Cambrian oceans were smaller than a pinky finger. This one is about 1.5 feet long. Oh, I see what they're saying. That in general, this would... Okay, so it wasn't as big as we're expecting it, even though they're describing it as a Titanochorus something. Is one
okay.
Oh, man. You can imagine the creature, they said, as but then again, they describe it as really big. A massive carnivorous zeppelin floating just above the seafloor. It was dredging the muck for food. See, this is exactly why I didn't want to fall off that paddleboard while I was in Hawaii over the turtles because of this.
The turtles aren't going to bother you. They don't have those claws that are like forearms
but what if,
extending from their mollusks.
What I think is a turtle ends up being this giant 500 million-year-old predator.
They don't
still
live
alive
anymore. No, they're extinct.
What you think?
Oh, global warming is a big challenge for warm-blooded animals, which must maintain an internal body temperature that is constant. Just like if you've ever had heat stroke, your body becomes severely stressed when we overheat. And animals are dealing with the climate change in various ways. Some are moving to cooler areas, like closer to the poles, to higher ground. Some are changing the timing of key life events like breeding, migration, so they can take place at cooler times. And some are evolving to change their body size so that they can cool down more quickly. They're shape-shifting.
Well, there's a guy named Joel Allen. He was a zoologist from back in the 1870s, and he noted that in colder climates, the warm-blooded animals tended to have smaller appendages, but those in the warmer climates tended to have larger ones. It's a simple way for them to regulate their internal temperatures.
Yeah, new research shows that they are changing the size of their ears, their tails, their beaks, and other appendages.
One of the super specific and very, I guess, understandable ones is that several species of Australian parrots show the beak size of the gang cockatoo, for example, or the red-rumped parrot. You know what's red on that parrot?
It's rump.
That those beak sizes have increased between 4 and 10% since 1871.
I would love to change the size of my thighs as we... Why do you have that look on your face? I'm trying to adapt to warmer climates.
Okay,
Smaller thighs
no,
would allow me to do that.
No. They're saying that larger thighs would allow you to dissipate more heat.
Oh.
So you're going the wrong way.
Oh.
But you're making a point that appendages are also increasing in size. The masked shrew, the tail and the leg length have increased significantly since 1950. And the great round-leaf bat, wing size has increased by 1.5% over that same period.
So smaller thighs are not something I can shapeshift into.
You need to move to a colder climate.
I see.
Right. So just crank up that AC. Maybe.
Yeah.
Shrink them thighs. When we come back,
the Australian duck that can swear.
You bloody fool.
Do we have audio of this?
You're damn right we do.
That's great.
You're darn tootin', Vladimir Putin.
I feel like, are you going to do that
stop.
constantly?
No.
It's fine if you do. But I also think that we should say bloody as an adjective on this show more than we do.
You mean like a swear word?
That's bloody crazy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. They say things that we would never be allowed to say.
Like the C word?
And the T word and all kinds of stuff.
The T word?
Yeah.
Is that these?
Nope.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure they could probably say that, but they say that too.
Oh, yeah, they do.
A lot.
Yes.
They use it very well.
Yeah.
We are in the middle of Strange Science, talking about what's, the weirdest stories, perhaps. There was a biologist, Carol Tenkate, heard rumors of a talking duck in Australia. But Carol didn't believe it. Brush it off. It's stupid. It's somebody making up jokes, or like any sane human being. He just thought it was a story. But
he kept thinking about this duck. I mean, he was up at nights in the early morning with this duck on his mind. So curious. So he decides to track down a well-respected Australian scientist who first noticed this phenomenon like 30 years ago.
Yeah, there have been images, videos of ducks vocalizing different sounds, like a door slamming or squeaking, or a pony snorting, or a man coughing. Birds have done that. I mean, look at different macaws and parrots that can do that and imitate sounds that make it sound like they're speaking.
But this Dutch biologist was simply stunned when he heard this duck scream, "You bloody fool."
You bloody fool. You bloody fool.
You bloody fool.
You bloody fool. You bloody fool. You bloody fool.
That is not a duck, is it? How could that possibly be a duck?
That is a duck. It looks like he went down the rabbit hole after finding this duck.
He went down the duck hole.
He found more evidence that musk ducks can mimic sounds from nature as well as those made by humans.
Well,
so was this duck simply listening to an old couple yell at each other and picked up, "You bloody fool"?
yes, but it had to be used over and over again. If you check out your latest issue of the Philosophical Transactions of the Royal Society of London B.
I love that one.
They said that the musk duck joins an exclusive club of animals that are capable of acquiring vocalization through learning. I mentioned parrots, but they also list hummingbirds.
Hummingbirds. Can you imagine the hummingbirds in your backyard all of a sudden sounding like you?
No.
Saying things like, men should all wear socks.
That's what I say. Have you ever heard me say that?
I don't know what you say at home, but I know how
True.
you feel about men who don't wear socks.
Whales, seals, dolphins, and even bats have this ability for vocalization.
You have at least 2 of those things in your home.
Socks?
Hummingbirds and bats.
Nearly all mammals can produce some vocal sound, whether it's a dog barking or a cow mooing. Humans are very different in that they can string together these sounds that have particular meanings. We call them words, obviously, and that allows us to communicate with each other. But at the same time, most mammals are born with innate vocalization abilities. Humans are not, as interesting as that is. Now, again,
How come you can do so many good voices in sounds?
I've practiced at them, you bloody fool.
Bloody fool.
You're like a musk duck.
You bloody fool.
Bloody fool.
We did get an email about this. Walking with coffee is something most of us do every day, and we don't even think about the act of balance that's required to keep the coffee from spilling over. But there was a full study done by Arizona State University electrical engineering professor Ying Cheng Lai. Says we have no conscious ability to analyze the influences of external factors like noise or climate on our interactions, but we still somehow possess this gifted ability to interact with complex objects. And you may not think of a coffee cup or a cup full of coffee as being a complex object, but when you do this thing, when you walk with this liquid in it, in the cup, you are, and your arm, even without necessarily looking at it, able to counterbalance and counter rotate all of that stuff so that the coffee doesn't spill out most of the time.
Not if you're Victor. That's how he tore his knee.
Yeah.
He walks around this place with a mug of coffee all the time, and all that balancing screwed him over.
What a bloody fool.
Bloody fool.
All right, John and Ken show coming up next.
See you tomorrow for Gas Fantasy Foreplay.
What are you going to wear?
My new Seattle Kraken shirt. I haven't worn it yet.
Cool.
It's a hockey shirt.
Okay.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
So this is over.
Stay dry.
Yes.
Blessings.
Gary and Shannon.
And it's not something to clap about. It's sad.